of Spain, for we've received orders for to sail for old England.
Hello gamers, this is Keith from the Solo Gamers Club, and welcome to the channel. Tonight we're going to be returning to Golden Age of Piracy 1718, and this is episode 2. At the close of our first episode, we captured a sloop fully intact, no sail or hull damage, and we've managed to sail it back to our pirate haven in Nassau. And we're going to sell some of the cargo hold, and I've got a plan. And what I'm hoping to do is to generate enough gold where we can sell this pirate ship, sell whatever the cargo is, and sell our sloop, the Resolute, and attempt to purchase a schooner. That's what I'm hoping to be able to do. I don't know if we're going to have enough money to do it, but we're going to find out. So it is January 11th, 1718, and we are currently docked in Nassau. Now, technically, we don't have to roll for weather unless we are planning on leaving Nassau, but I'm going to continue to do that because the previous day's weather does have an effect on the next day if we choose to sail out. So I will continue to roll for the weather. If we are hit with a hurricane, as an example, it won't have any effect on us as we are docked in port. So I'm going to continue to roll for the weather, and the modifiers right now are we have currently poor weather from the previous day. That's going to give us a +5 modifier. And with the new optional rules, we're going to be gaining a -5 modifier for January through May. So here's the roll. The result is 54. 54 is poor with light winds. So nothing will change. We're still poor with light winds. And now we are going to disembark the crew in Nassau, and we'll give them some R&R. Then we can choose any or all of the following actions before the day ends, with crew back on the ship and ready to head out to sea. And we're going to start out by buying and selling cargo and goods. Currently, we have 17 rum and 6 sugar, 1 medicine, and 2 additional black powder, in addition to what we are carrying on the ship for combat operations. This black powder is carried separately, and that's normally used for when we build our pirate haven. Now, in the previous episode, I just had a math error when we took the available black powder from the captured ship. I should have had 2 left over instead of 1, so I've modified that to reflect that change. So I'm going to start out, and we're going to sell that rum and sugar. Now, we don't have a level 5 haggle skill, so we're only going to be able to use that first table on B2. And we'll check the values for per unit of the items that we currently have. We'll start out with the sugar, and the sugar is valued at 100 each. So we're going to sell all 6 of those sugar, and that'll be worth 600 to us. So we will change that over, and we'll move up our gold to 3850. 3850. All right. Next, we're going to negotiate the sale of our rum, and we've got 17 units of rum. That's valued at 150 per unit. It gives us a sale price of $25.50. We'll take care of selling that rum, and that moves up our total to 6,400 in gold. 6,400. All right. Next, we're going to sell that captured pirate ship. And that had no damage to sails or hull, and it is an unimproved sloop. And that has a sale of $1,000. So we're going to gain another $1,000 for selling that ship. So that moves our gold total up to 7,400. And I found out that we're not able to purchase any other ship other than a sloop. What we can do is upgrade the vessel, and that is a thing that I think we're going to do. Now, to upgrade this sloop to an upgraded sloop is going to take 4 days and will cost us $1,000. What that will do is give us the ability to house more crew on board the ship, but it's going to come at the cost of our carrying capacity. So I think we are going to authorize an upgrade to the ship. So that will cost us $1,000. That'll move us to $6,400. And now we need 4 days. 4 days to complete the upgrade. And incidentally, our main crew is now going to be returned back to 2. One of our crew had to pilot the captured ship back to Nassau, and now that we've sold that ship, that crew returns to us. We have fanatical loyalty, and finally we've got some infamy. And I think at the end of the day we've done our sales, and I think Captain Rathmore is going to go to the tavern for a little R&R.
What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? Early in the morning, waiting.
So the good captain arrives at his favorite watering hole, and I think he's going to do a little gambling. We've got $6,400 in gold, and I think the good captain is going to wager $400. So we'll be rolling a D10, and we're going to be successful on a 7 through 10. Otherwise, we'll lose our wager. Here is the roll. And we rolled a 1, so we've lost. That'll move our gold down to 6,000. And we'll re-put that in at 6. And that's going to bring this day to a close. Now, our retrofit of the Resolute is going to take 4 days. So we are going to tick off a total of 4 days. The 11th is complete. And now we have to tick off 4 additional days. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it is now Sunday the 16th. So we will switch over our pirate ship crew sheet to the upgraded version of the sheet. It'll give us our new statistics. So we've upgraded the sheet. Our captain is healthy. We have a crew now of 2. But we can have a main crew of up to 4. So we're going to be purchasing some crew members, hopefully, during this day. Crew is fanatical, and we have an infamy of 1. All right, I've been rolling for weather for each of the 4 days that the Resolute has been in for retrofit. Previous day's weather was bad with strong winds. So we'll see if that continues. We'll see what the current weather conditions are. So we'll be getting a +10 for previous weather bad and a -5 for it being January. So -5 will give us a +5 total. Here's the roll. And we've rolled a 0.7. +5 is 12, and that's going to give us good with light winds. So we'll switch our weather to good with light winds. But we're not going anywhere yet. We're going to stay docked in Nassau, and we're going to hunt for some new crew members. So we're going to go to the tavern, and we're going to search out and hunt for pirate crew members. $100 per gold per main crew unit must be paid up front in order to hire them. We're going to roll a 1d10, and that will tell us the number of crew units that are available to hire. We can hire up to 2 more to meet the capacity of our ship. So here's the roll. And we've rolled a 2, and that's what we're going to do. So we're going to pay $200, and we're going to hire 2 more crew members of our main crew, moving us up to 4. That's fantastic. So we'll adjust our main crew up 2 for the 2 that we just hired, putting us at 4. It's going to give us a much better capacity for boarding actions. And so that's going to cost us $200, moving us down to $5,800. And I think Captain Rathmore is going to try to do a little bit more gambling. We'll try it. He's going to risk $800 this time. We'll see if he can be successful. We're going to need a 7 to 10 though. Here's the roll. And he rolled a 2. He is not very lucky. So that'll move us down to a total of 5,000 gold. And we have an upgraded ship, the upgraded Resolute. So that completes the 16th of January, and we're ready to set sail. And I think we will do so. We'll begin with our weather check, and we've currently got, from the previous day, good weather with light winds. So we'll be getting a -10 dice roll modifier, and here is the roll. And we've rolled 39. That'll be modified to 29, and that's good with light winds. So we have no change. Good with light winds, and we're going to set sail. And once again, I think I'm going to be patrolling along the western waters off of Cuba. So we're going to head southwesterly into the Nicholas Channel. We'll undock and move into that location. Now we're going to roll for a possible random event. And for that to be successful, it's going to have to be a 98 or greater. Here's the roll. And we rolled a 24. We have no random event. And now we'll see if there's an enemy ship encounter. There will be no modifiers to this as we have good weather. So we're looking for basically a 9 or a 10 to spot something. Here's the roll. Result is a 2. So we've seen nothing. And that's going to bring the 17th of January to close. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue to play off camera until we come across something that is interesting for the viewers to see. We'll see you back in a little bit. All right, it's Thursday, January 27th. We are sailing currently in the waters around Evangelista, Spanish port. And we have sighted something. So we're going to return back and see what we've sighted on the horizon. So we're going to be rolling 2d10. And the modifiers that will apply will be +1 per Captain Infamy. So we have an infamy of 1. We're at +1. It's +1 for an orange town. So we're at +2. And that will be the only ones that will apply. So we will roll 2d10 +2. And we've rolled a 5. +2 is 7. A 7 is a merchant ship. All right. So we're going to roll another 2d10 and determine the ship type that we've sighted. Now we are in a Spanish town, so if it ends up to be a man of war, there's a chance it could be a Spanish man of war treasure ship. So we'll see what happens. So we'll be rolling 2d10, and there is currently no modifier. And we've rolled a total of 9, and that indicates that we have found a schooner. All right. So we've sighted an enemy schooner coming out of Evangelista. Our first step is to roll for the enemy captain's skill level. We'll make a roll for that. And this is going to be his seamanship level. He's rolled a 5. And a 5 has a seamanship of 2. So we're going to record his seamanship at 2. That's equal to our own. So the merchant crew is going to be at 2 for schooner. Sails are going to be at 6. And the hull will also be at 6. And checking the chart, schooner is going to have a total of 12 black powder, so we will give him a total of 12 black powder. So I've moved the schooner's black powder tokens to the combat display. Our first step is to see if the merchant ship will just surrender. If we can get an unmodified 10, merchant ship will surrender automatically. Here is the roll. And we did. We have rolled a 10. That is absolutely amazing. And by them surrendering, that is going to award us 1,000 XP for our pirate captain. So we're going to mark him with 1,000 XP. We're up to 1,800 now. It's going to be able to increase our pirate level to 1. We get a point for every 1,000 XP. So we will increase our pirate level to 1. And we're at 800 remaining XP. And now, since we have moved up a level, we're entitled to 1 extra point of capability. And I think we're going to add that 1 point that we gained from our experience, and we'll put that into, I think, navigation. And we'll change our navigation from 1 up to 2. And the capture of that ship is going to move our infamy up from 1 up to 2. Now, we haven't fired any guns, so we've still got our full amount, our full complement of black powder, and so does the enemy merchant. And so now our choice is, do we keep our upgraded sloop, or do we take possession of this new schooner? Now the schooner would offer us a little bit more in cannons. We would be able to shoot 3 cannons per round of combat instead of 2. And I think that might be advantageous for us. So I think we are going to do that. We're going to change our ship from a sloop, and we're going to use this captured schooner. And so we're going to shift this over from a sloop into a schooner. We do have the required seamanship. We have a level of 2, and that's what a schooner is. It's still a shallow draft boat. Now we have to determine what is on board our captured schooner. We're going to get 3 D100 rolls, and we're going to consult table I7 to find out what type of item, and then we're going to be rolling 2D10 to determine how many of the item are there. Okay, here's the first roll. The result is 95, and we have found prisoners. Interesting. And let's find out how many prisoners are on board. It's going to be 2D10 worth of prisoners. And that's a total of 16. So there are 16 prisoners on board the ship. So we'll get our prize ship number 1 cargo display, and we'll enter 16 prisoners. Now these prisoners can either be pressed into service to join the pirate ship main crew, or as haven pirates. No additional gold is required to hire them. They can be sold in Nassau, or they can be freed. To free them, they must either be allowed to take command of the captured merchant ship and go on their way, or dropped off in Nassau. For each prisoner freed, the pirate captain gains 200 XP. That is awesome. And knowing the good captain's nature, he is definitely going to be setting those prisoners free. He will allow them to take their previous ship, our sloop, and he's going to send them on their way. That's going to earn us 3,200 XP. That's going to move our XP up to a total of 4,000. And that's going to allow us to reach 4 additional levels. We will be at level 5 now. So we're going to erase our XPs and move our level up to 5. That is awesome. It's going to allow us to get 4 more points in our abilities. 4 additional points. And I think we're going to take 2 of those points and put them into seamanship. It's going to move us up to a total of 4. I think in addition, I'm going to take 1 point into swordsmanship. I'll move us up to 3. And 1 point into swimming. Got to protect our pirate captain. All right, that was the first commodity on board. We get 2 more rolls. Here's the second roll. And we've rolled 23. And that's going to be sugar. So we'll roll 2D10 to find out how much sugar was on board. And we've got 7, so there's 7 sugar on board. And we'll mark that accordingly. Got one roll left. And let's see what we get. And we've got 81. 81 is fine china. We'll get 2d10 worth of fine china. And we've got 8. So we've got 8 fine china, and we'll mark that accordingly. That was a pretty good haul for us. Now we have to determine if there are any specialist crewmen on board. And we're going to be making a 1d10. And we're looking basically for a 9 or better. Here's the roll. We've rolled a 9. There is at least one specialist on board. We're going to roll on another table, that's I-10, and we'll determine what type of specialist crewman is on board. Here's the roll. We've rolled a 4, and that is a foreman. All right. We're allowed to press into service one specialist per ship. And in this case, we're going to press the foreman into service on board our vessel. And now it's time to try to extract some information from the pirate captain. He surrendered, so I'm only going to be doing 2 torture rolls, and this torture is going to be more mental than physical. So we're going to roll a D100 consulting table I-11, and we'll see what type of information we might be able to extract from the pirate captain. Here's the roll for the first one. We've rolled an 86, and 86 is town information revealed. How about that? So we're going to get out a town information card, and let's find out where this information is going to be valid. And since he's giving us the information, this is going to bring our torture section to a close. So what we need to do now is find out where that information is going to be valid. We'll be going to P1 in the rules. Our first step is to roll a D10 to get a random town. Here is the roll. Rolls a 4, and that information is going to be in Havana. So we will mark that down on the card. And we're instructed now to consult table P2, and that is the town information details. We're going to roll a D10, and we're going to do that twice. If the second roll results is the same as the first, we would roll again. So this is going to give us 2 pieces of information. So we'll roll a black and a white to differentiate those. Here's the roll. The results are a 10 and a 3. The 3 is information about the governor's child. And it says here that we're supposed to roll another D10, a 1 to 5. That child is at home. A 6 to 10, it is out of town. The result is a 2, so the governor's child is at home. So we're going to mark our town information card with child home and circle yes. That was our first piece of information. The second piece is a result of 10, and that's bank gold. And that says we're supposed to roll a 2d10 to determine the amount of gold in the town bank. So let's do that 2d10. Total is 7. And a 7 results in 14,000 gold in the bank. All right, so let's mark that down. Bank gold. 14,000 doubloons. Wow. And actually, we're supposed to modify that because Havana is a red town, giving that a +3. So that would move the roll up to a 10. That would move it to 20,000 doubloons. So we'll have to remark that. And that's up to 20,000. All right. And this information is valid for 2 weeks, 14 days. That will move us to February 9th. So we'll mark an expiration date on there of 2/9. 2/9. So we have that long to be able to utilize this information in Havana. So we are taking the schooner We're going to send off the enemy ship, crew, and captain, and we're going to release them aboard our previous vessel. They were honorable in the fact that they struck their colors. They struck their colors, thus surrendering the vessel, and they didn't attempt any shenanigans against us, so we're going to treat them fairly. Now, our new capacity of black powder for our new ship is going to be 12, so we're going to be taking 2 points of black powder from the enemy. Our capacity on the schooner is 50, so we'll have enough to transfer over this fine china and the sugar, along with the remaining black powder. 10 of those we'll put into the cargo holds. We don't want to give them any black powder in case they want to try to fire on us as we set them free. Now, the 16 prisoners, we're setting them free, and that's what gave us our increase into our XP. So we're going to put them in command of the ship, and we'll release them, and their ship will go on the way with the prisoners being in command. And so we've changed over our pirate ship crew now. We've got our captain, a foreman specialist. 3 crew is the maximum we can have on our schooner. Fanatical loyalty and our infamy is at 2. Now, our previous crew capacity was 4, so we actually have 1 crew that we have left over we don't have space for. So we're going to convert them over to Haven pirates. And we'll take 1 supply of Haven pirates. We've got our 8 units of fine china. Black powder is up to 12 now. That's the stored black powder. 1 Haven pirate, and 1 medicine, and 7 sugar. That is our pirate hold as it exists right now. Now, as we're on a schooner, our black powder capacity is 12. And so, as nightfall comes, it brings an end to the 27th of January, 1718. We're currently outside the port of Evangelista, and now we are in control of a schooner. In addition, we have received some very valuable town information about the Spanish port of Havana. We know that the bank contains 20,000 doubloons, and the governor's child is currently in residence. And we've got until the 9th of February to act on that information. That being a major port, that could be a little tough for us to deal with, but we'll see what happens. I think our next priority is going to be to try to assemble enough materials to build a pirate haven. And I think that is going to be important as we start progressing through the game. That pirate haven is going to become very important for us. We might want to also think about our pirate stash as well. I think we're going to set course for Nassau, and we're going to sell these items that we were able to pick up, and then see if we can possibly purchase some haven pirates and start building our pirate haven. Now, coming up on February 1st, we're going to have to pay our plunder out to our crew. This will be the first time that we're going to be doing that in the game. So I'm going to set course back to Nassau, and we'll take care of business there. I'll play this off camera, and we'll see some of the results maybe as we go along. All right, it's February 1st, 1718. We're currently sailing in the Florida Stream. We had no activity today, but it is the first of the month, so we have to do our pirate ship and haven cruise plunder payouts. And currently we have a total of 3 main crew. We also have 1 pirate haven crew that is on board the ship as cargo, so I believe we have to pay them as well. So we're going to have to pay a total of 4 of those, not to mention we also have to pay any specialists. And we have 1 specialist, and that's our foreman. So we have technically a total of 3, 4 for the pirate haven pirates, and 5. So that's a total of 5 units. And in order for us to not lose any loyalty, we have to pay them at least 250 doubloons. I'm not sure about the Pirate Haven pirates, but I believe we would have to pay them. They're not going to be in the hold of the ship for not getting paid. So this will cost us a total of 1,250 doubloons. And that's going to leave us with 3,750. So we'll mark that at 3,750. And our crew is completely paid and they're happy and they still have fanatical loyalty. So I'm going to continue on and we'll see what happens when we get back to Nassau. And so we arrived back in Nassau. We've docked ourselves. The weather was good with moderate winds as we sail into our friendly harbor of Nassau. And that's going to complete February 4th, 1718. And I think we're going to bring this episode to a close. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the recording sheets that are provided in the game, and we're going to record all of this information that we have to this point, and I believe we're going to return to this in a future video. I'm having a great time presenting this to you, and I hope that you're enjoying this. The sandbox elements in this game are done extremely well, and it really gives the feel of the pirate captain having a great deal of agency, and I enjoy that quite a bit. So we'll be returning to Golden Age of Piracy in the future. I'm going to record all this information on the sheet, and I think our next video is going to be an old favorite of mine, and we're going to return back to Eldritch Horror, and this time I'm going to be going up against a new ancient old one that I have not faced yet, and we'll see how that goes. So in the meantime, this is Keith from the Solo Gamers Club, thanking you for joining me at my channel and inviting you to tune in again in the future for another video. In the meantime, this is Keith signing off and wishing everyone a pleasant evening. Good night.